This guy is an instrumentalist in the church, but he was disappointed by his pastor. Bro, can you tell us about your experience?
Yeah, well, I had a very ugly experience though, but some persons may feel it's an expectation or an entitlement. Sorry, no, it is not. Everyone has the responsibility to take care of him or herself, you understand? But then there's what we call motivation, especially when you know that most persons in this particular field do anything just to survive in it. There was this church I used to be very, very, very committed, even till I graduated and all of that. I was the keyboardist there. Before I came in, there's been no stable keyboardist in that place. Myself and my friend then. So coming to the church was empty. There was no much growth, no congregation. It was still living in a batch or thatched apartments and stuff, thatched structures, you know.
Okay, the church was just like a wooden church, nothing serious about it.
Exactly. So you see, when we came in, my friend had this mindset of, okay, he likes the way the man teaches, the way he preaches and stuff. And I was okay with the church as well. So we decided to put in all efforts we could to see this church grow. Yes. Most times,
What effort did you guys take?
most times we skip our tests in school. Most times we sacrifice things that we don't even want to talk about. Our comfort, yes. We never for one day asked for a dime. And also we never received a dime. Now, this is not an entitlement. Even the scripture made us understand that the gift of a man maketh way for him. True or false?
It's true.
But then, when we talk about these things as instrumentalists, most persons will feel you shouldn't get anything from the house of God. Oh no. The house of God, we all know, should be like a remedy, like an hospital to humanity.
So what? Okay, when you found the church in that, you guys decided to do something for the church. Like what did you guys do, to help the church grow?
Okay, we started by contributing immensely in the music department, because this friend of mine is a singer and I play instruments.
What instrument do you play?
I play keyboard, I play bass guitar, I play partly drums. I'm a vocalist as well. So I had to attract some of my friends, because the music department was almost dead in the church when we got there. So we had to revive that. And being a student in a student environment, most students are easily attracted to the church by music, through music, you understand? And when they get that music, it is through that music that they will have that patience to hear that word you have to pass to them, either to implement or probably portray change to them or something. But then we did all we could, and to some extent this particular pastor in question knows about us, knows our background, knows what we do, knows that we were more of independent and getting no support from nowhere. Okay, fine, church started growing. There was time we hosted a program that made the church filled to the brim for the very first time, of which he acknowledged. Yeah. And then we kept growing. We kept making things work. You understand? The mindset that we went to that church was to build a family. And that was why we never placed a particular price tag on any of the services we rendered, as instrumentalists or as a gospel singer. But at the end of the day, God started opening doors for this particular pastor, whom we once felt is a father, is part of the family. He understands the purpose why we're here, to grow this place together and make things work. It's not our vision, yes, but we had our contributions. He's been doing this over the years and is still at a particular stage. But then
you guys came in to support him, to help him grow selflessly.
Even
when you were still in school, and of course, students need money.
Obviously,
It'd be a great thing for you to be giving that service and at least getting something in return.
Of course.
And there are pastors who would have been willing to pay you at least something for it.
When I follow him to some programs outside his church and I play for him, I have gotten so many secret invites to come play for some of these churches he goes for programs, and I have gotten cool offerings, like cool offers in terms of remuneration. But then it's not what I do. I started music from age 3. I started singing, going to church, going for programs and all of that.
So can I interrupt you? I told you guys this thing. A lot of Nigerian youth, they start with passion. they start with selflessness. I mean, look at this guy's story. Just continue, bro. I'm feeling you.
Well, so the whole thing is, it's actually disheartening. At the end of the day, God started bringing open doors. There was a time we were having a conversation, and this man would tell me that he doesn't need 2 cars. What does he need it for? Like, God blesses him with 2 cars. There are people on the streets. I was like, wow, this man has a good heart. You understand? I'm not judging him by that. But then, we started working with the mindset that, oh yes, he understands and we know what we are in for. Along the line, cars started coming in, doors started opening. We started building, changing it. There was a time in the church that we had a 9th program. I was playing. When I play from the inside. I most times close my eyes. I always get connected and stuff. So during one of these programs, I kept my phones right beside me. The church was open. Remember, I told you it's in a attached structure, not secured. When I closed my eyes trying to pray, next thing I saw, I felt something on my leg. What did I feel? Somebody from the bush, because the place was still bushy, from the bush came in and picked my phone and ran off, like he took off into the bush. My 2 phones. In the church, I was like, wow. I immediately stood up, I called the attention of some persons. We went around to check, we couldn't find this person. I told Papa about it. And
you left the instrument you were playing?
Yeah. I left and told them, see what happened. My phone just left. This person is in the bush. So they went outside and started searching for this particular person, but we couldn't find him. You understand? So at the end of the program, I went to the pastor and I was like, my phone's restored. I was like, don't worry, you don't know what God has averted for you with this. That was the response I got. I felt it is well. It's a phone. It would always come again. You understand? We allowed all that. Like, I don't want to be listing sacrifices because the sacrifices was not for the purpose of to attract praises or to make me feel entitled or whatever. All we need, I believe I am speaking the mind of most instrumentalists who desires to be committed and not just being paid. Most of them are willing not to take a dime and serve with their heart, but then is a practical love from the family being expressed in that church.
What actually happened later? Like, let's know what actually happened.
Well, along the line,
when God started blessing him,
God actually started blessing him and all of that, and gradually distance was already setting in. You understand? Distance in the sense of he's a big man and stuff. You understand? Even when
was he having new instrumentalists?
No, there was no new instrumentalists there. We were still the ones doing our things. He bought a land for the church, and I was part of those who dug the foundation. I was part of those who did lots of things. I supported all I could. So at the verge of graduation, I saw the need to raise somebody else, groom someone else who would take my place when I leave, just so the church would not feel that gap. That's to tell you how much I loved the church. I was not paid for this. Not for any reason. I never asked for a dime for it. But my pain now is this. What would it cost such a person to reciprocate as a father? Will you discover that your son has no aim or has no plan to make you feel bad or disappoint you, and at the end of the day you know his needs that could probably push him to fulfillment, and you deprive him of it?
How can you be sure that pastor is in the position to help you? That's on that thing.
Well, if he was not in a position to, I would tell.
How? You can't just, it's not that easy to, because it's easy for you to look at anybody and say, oh, this person has it all. Do you know how many people come to me every day and ask for, oh, lucky school fees this day? Because they think that, oh, this guy, he has followers, he does this, that. See, sometimes it doesn't happen that way, except there's something personal, you know yourself, and you are sure that this man was in the best position to have helped me. So I want you to talk about what actually, because there was a transition. This man, he doesn't used to have a fan. All of a sudden, God started blessing him. What happened? I want you to talk about it. This blessing, how would you describe it? I mean, you talked about, he said that if he had 2 cars, that he would never even drive the 2, he would give out one.
He made that statement and all of that. But then, when this car started coming in and all of that, like Ayla made mention, distance started setting in.
How many of the cars came in?
I lost count because there were lots of cars, of which some of them I followed one of the assistant pastor down to a state to go change the spray and all of that. Lots of cars were coming.
Like how many?
His problem, let's say at a random figure of like 4, 5, 6 cars.
This man, from not having any car,
He was having just a Mitsubishi, one very old.
so not having up to 5, 6.
And now having a lot of it. But
Okay, what were you expecting him to do for you?
like I earlier made mention, what we'll need is love. But that love is found lacking. Now,
How? I'm confused. I want to know.
I don't necessarily need to meet you. If assuming I was working with you for a period of 2-3 years, you being older or being more experienced than myself, you should be able to know a space that is lacking in my life. If you find me worthy of it to feel, even without me asking for it. That if truly you have that love in you.
Yeah, that's true.
Do you understand?
But what if he had many people working for him and he couldn't just help everybody at once?
Count numbers. How many persons are we working there? How did we start? You see, sometimes it's not necessarily about the number of persons pressurizing you. The thing is acknowledging the fact that there was one time you needed this. Nobody was ready to render that without placing a demand in return. But you had it on a platter of gold because they just wanted that growth.
Okay, I want to ask, was there something specifically you wanted him to do for you? You asked him to do for you that he refused to do, even though you knew he was in the best position to do it?
There was a time I met him and I told him about starting up a taxi business and all of that. While I was already doing my taxi stuff with a hire purchase, right?
You did taxi?
Yeah, of course.
Wow.
I did taxi and I met him. I was like, I want to stop this hire purchase thing. If you could loan me to clear up this particular car, because it was left with just a token of about 300,000 or thereabouts. Because the pressure and the whole being a stranger to this particular state, it was not like they were trying to make games and make up things to make me, lose opportunities and stuff. So I met him and I told him, let me clear this particular car and secure it. Then I will refund you. Let me channel the refunding, like the payment plan, to you instead of them. You understand? And the response I got was, I don't have money. Like, okay, fine, I understand. I gave him time for months. But then what happened?
And he didn't even ask you about it?
He was not even bothered.
Are you sure he had money then?
If he doesn't have money, I won't ask him for money. Even if he was not having money, he had the influence because he made me know that the person whom I was having that car business deal with was his spiritual son. So if he was not having the money, he had the influence to at least minimize these pressures and unnecessary attitudes.
Oh, there was pressure on you to pay up.
Of course, there were lots of pressures and irrelevant attitudes that came up. So along the line, there was a time we were just trying to fix things. Cars were still coming. There was one car that came in, one Camry, pencil lights, whatever. And I met him, okay, it's like I will just pick this up and start paying you up. He said no, he wants to sell it, he needs money.
Okay, a car came in for your pastor and you wanted him to help you with the car to be running around taxi. What? It's dark. Okay. A car came in one time and you wanted your pastor to help you with the car to be running around. Meanwhile, how many cars did he have at that time?
I think he was having about four cars or so.
Then another car came in. A smaller car.
A smaller car came in.
And you were asking him, Daddy, please, sir, pastor, can you give me this car to use to hustle? I'll pay you back.
The thing is, with the mindset of going into this church, I saw him more as a father than a pastor. If I was seeing him as a pastor, I wouldn't, for any reason, even talk to him about any demand. If I was there for business, come on, when I finish playing, you pay me. Let me go sort my life out. You understand? So I spoke to him with an understanding mind, like a son would approach his father and tell him, this is my challenge, this is my plan, and this is what I know I can make out of it. And he knows. He sure knows. But then he told me he wanted to sell out the car outrightly, that I needed money. I was like, okay, fine, let me start paying up. He said no, he needed the cash 100% and stuff. So I missed out on that. So there are lots.
Maybe he wanted to use the money for something important.
Fine, but there are lots of cars in the house. But then the thing is,
I'm not trying to say you're feeling entitled to. Okay, now let's talk about something. So how was he supporting you while we were in school, while you were still in school, and when you graduated from school? What did he do anything for you?
if he actually did support me while I was in school, or if he actually did support me even while I graduated, why would I be having this conversation with you? Why? I know of my colleagues that was actually, remember I made mention of attracting some of my friends who are also instrumentalists to them to come to the church and play, because definitely I can't be playing the keyboard, be playing the bass guitar and the drum same time. Most of them, they would call me church boy, and today they left the church, they're into the streets, and presently in the streets, instead of most of them are into some kind of we all know what it is,
illegal
stuff, and they are doing so well for themselves. These are persons that were once so devoted and committed, coming down to the church. But then, remember I earlier said what these persons needs are encouragement. It's not like they are being greedy, it's not like they are being entitled. But then what is the church if there is no love and if there is no support for growth? What is it all about? Especially when you know this person is not placing no demand for anything. I really don't like talking about this particular thing because I feel bad and I feel saddened each time I remember this particular experience. So most times I don't even like talking about it. I just beat my hand on my chest and know that yes, what it is that I've set as a goal for myself, I want to get all that done, with or without anyone's support. It's not going to be easy. It's been challenging, yes, but then it has gotten to a point whereby just live your life, live the rest for God. That's just what I just even don't want to talk about him for any reason. For once, what support have I gotten from this person, even while being a student, who he knows as he was aware I lost my dad when I was offered admission to the university. At least I told him that. He knows. He saw the way I was hustling, doing my things and trying to support.
Like what kind of hustle have you done? Just talk about, just stroll through them. Can you just list the kind of hustles you've done in your life?
Outside the taxi, I was a boat driver. I've done boat driving. I've done screeding. I've done the tricycle.
What's tricycle? That is keke napep.
Keke napep business. I've done a restaurant business.
You had a restaurant?
Of course, I have an online restaurant in Abuja. I've done a whole lot of hustles. Like, why I am not even feeling myself like right now in saying all this is because I still feel my story is incomplete, and I know I will come back soon and give a complete detail for persons who must have been in my shoes, or for some persons who are at the point of ending it all, or those who are having similar challenges presently and feeling there is no hope. There was even one time I had an opportunity to travel abroad with a Catholic priest friend of mine who has known me from childhood. He was going for a 3-month visit in the US, and during that August period was usually our semester holidays and stuff. So he wanted me to come along. He started the passport process. The whole process I needed was already in place.
America?
Yeah, America precisely. But then, as if Papa knew, he fixed a marathon program that particular month of August. The whole Friday of August.
Okay, this your pastor then fixed the program.
He was not aware of it. I didn't tell him. But he fixed a program, and then, knowing that I was not having an alternative or a substitute, somebody who could take up if I am not there, and knowing how important that program or any program he fixes is important to him, me leaving for that reason will make him feel bad or make him feel like I am giving attitudes or feeling too important. I don't know if you understand.
Because of that reason, what did you do? Because I don't want to think that what I'm thinking is what you did.
Because of that reason, I had to decline.
You had to decline an express visa to America.
I had to decline that offer of going to America.
You decline say it again.
I had to decline that offer to travel down to America for that 3 months. Do you know what going to America for at least, even if it's 2 months or a month, would have done for me? Because I know my person. I definitely am not going there to work.
This is to say that this guy was very determined to help this pastor, and the pastor did not even know the kind of person he had. He had vision for the church. He was very selfless. He also networked around to bring his friends to come and also help this pastor grow his vision. From having almost no car to having about 4 to 5 cars, the pastor's life changed, yet nothing changed for this very young man. I can tell you, my brothers and sisters all over the world, that this is the story of most Nigerian youths. Brother, this interview is getting too long. I'm traveling to every state in Nigeria and I'm going to be interviewing every youth. I want them to talk about their life, their hardship, their challenges, their frustration, because I want people to learn from it. I want pastors to also learn from this too. What advice do you have to pastors, and what advice do you have for Nigerian youth?
Well, for pastors particularly, I just want to plead that they should take their time and observe those who truly are willing to push their vision regardless.
At all cost.
All cost, because when you're able to pick out those who are willing to work with you with no demands placed, the little, no matter how small it is, even if it's just motivational words, even though motivation does not feed you, but then that concern, that love, that hope, that yes, I am with you, don't worry, things like, I don't know if you get, no matter how little it is, draw these persons close. Let them feel loved. A church should be family.
Let them feel loved. That's very important. What advice do you have for the Nigerian youth?
For the Nigerian youth, I will just tell them, my brothers, nobody should give up. Giving up is very easy. You understand? Giving up is very, very easy. But then, remember, we started for a reason. And irrespective of how the economy and the situation of the country has been, please, I will advise every single youth to have a plan that they are earnestly and consciously, with all focus, going after, without any distractions. Because it is one thing to have a youth in the society going through the economic downturn and all of that, being a victim of it, and it's another thing for you to have a youth who is going through same experience but have plans to make things work. If I come across you as a youth and I ask you, okay, what plans do you think you have to make things better for yourself? If you tell me the economy has spoiled your life and you have no plans for yourself to actually make something for yourself, you're wasting your time. Amidst these dirty economic challenges, you can still have something. Let it be that, yes, this is the particular thing you need, either finance or whatever it is, a minimum expectation to help you actualize a particular goal. So I urge all youths to keep setting their goals, keep pushing towards that goals, no matter the distraction, no matter the heat. Trust me, like I earlier said, I don't feel myself much right now because the success story is not complete.
It's not complete though, and that success story will never be far from you. But I hope with all this experience you've not changed.
Why should I?
Let's end this interview. Thank you very much. Don't change too. Most of you are probably depressed right now because of something that happened in the past. I've also had my own fair share of experience, but this is not the best time to share it because today this man's voice needs to be heard.